What's up everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing my Super Mario Galaxy Movie 40X experience. So I'll be discussing both of the movie, what I think about the movie, and 40X in general as the experience with the movie. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a bit of spoilers, a bit of not spoilers. I'm going to start with no spoilers, try my best to not do any spoilers, and then go on to a bit of the more spoilery stuff and my opinion on some of the reveals they did, and 40X as well. I will sort of connect and see how 40X did with the movie and if it's right for you. But keep in mind, all this is my opinion, so yeah, let's get on with the review. Alright, so let's get on to the main aspect here. Was the Super Mario Galaxy movie good? I'd say so. I would say it's a good movie. There are a lot of aspects that I did like, but there are a lot of aspects that I didn't like as much. The story, I do have to somewhat agree. I feel it's a little lacking in substance. I feel like it's a little thin. But as a Mario fan myself, all the references were well appreciated. I thought that all the references were actually pretty good. I was surprised by some of the references they even had and how they brought those in to a Mario Galaxy movie, but it was pretty good, I gotta say, like in terms of that. And the score, the soundtrack is amazing. Like Brian Tyler, I think, he did an astounding, amazing job. I gotta say, like he brings in original tracks, but he also brings in a lot of songs from the original different games, and combines them into one sort of, into one song or one whole soundtrack. So some songs have a full remix, I think. Some songs are they're put together from different other songs. They're all bundled together to make their own remix. It's just really amazing. Same with the animation, Illumination, I gotta say, they've been doing really good in terms of the animation for this movie and the last one too. It was really good, I gotta say. It's pretty much some of the best I think Illumination has to offer so far, and it's not too surprising. I mean, Nintendo's on the project too, so yeah. The voice acting too is pretty good. I could hardly even notice that Chris Pratt was Mario this time. And Yoshi was great. Princess Peach, she was great as well. And yeah, I gotta say, lots of the settings they bring into and lots of the characters are also pretty surprising. I'll get more into it when I'm talking about the more spoiler heavy parts. So yeah, but some of these characters they definitely brought in were, again, completely unexpected. Like some of the characters I even forgot were gonna be in the movie, and then I saw them in the movie, so that was interesting. But some of the new stuff they bring in, it wasn't really used, I don't think. Again, I'll touch more on it in the spoiler video, in the spoiler part to this video. But some of the stuff isn't really touched on as much as they should, or as much as they were promising that they would. Well, saying that they would. But it was still a good time. I still enjoyed it. The movie was still a great movie. I would recommend seeing it yourself. You could see your own opinion. You could find out your own opinion on the movie, see if it's any worth it. But personally, I find it good. Was it better than the first one? I don't know. I feel like the first one does a lot of things better, but this one is also doing a lot of things. Like it still builds upon the previous movie in a lot of ways. So I really just think it's up to personal opinion. Both of the movies are pretty good in my opinion, though. So yeah, that's my spoiler-free version of the review, and I'll start to continue about the spoiler-filled version right about now. Okay, so from this part forward, this video is going to be just reviewing and saying how I feel about the different reveals and all the different aspects that were in the movie, and going more in depth in just the movie itself. And in the 40X part, I will try to not do as much spoilers. I'll try to not, but there's no guarantee. So, yeah. So, the opening scene I thought was actually really surprising. I did not know that was going to be the opening scene with Rosalina and Bowser Jr. I thought that was going to be like in the middle. We were just going to figure out Rosalina later. I did not expect her at all to just be captured. Like the entire movie, she was just captured and just stuck there pretty much. I was not expecting that. I really was not planning to see that happen. I did not expect that to happen, but that is how it was. So yeah, I was expecting more of a Mario Galaxy style. So maybe like they must save something or someone, but Rosalina would more so be a helper to Mario, like in the video game. But that's just what I thought, and I guess they're trying to go for more of an inspired take rather than doing a full adaptation, similar to the Sonic movies. But it was still definitely interesting. I gotta say, it was a different take, and that made Peach not just be a damsel in distress again. It allowed her to be on her own. It allowed her to be with Toad and just do something rather than just stand there and be captured like in the game sometimes. Unfortunately, that does make Rosalina take that part, but I mean, it's all right anyways. It's still they still play it well. they still use it well, and it's still a good story. Into like it's, I just still think it's entertaining at least, which is what really matters. In terms of Mario, though, I feel like he doesn't get used as much. Like Mario and Luigi, I feel like Luigi gets used more in this movie than the last one, but I feel like they just haven't used him, and like the two brothers in general, I mean, as much. I feel like there's more of a focus on Princess Peach and Yoshi, and then Mario's a bit of an afterthought, I think, but he still has a lot of good scenes in the movie, and there are definitely a few funny parts. And Bowser, wow, Bowser is there's a lot to say about Bowser. So Bowser in this movie is small for a good chunk of it. Just like it's pretty much just left off straight from the original movie where he's just small, but then he later grows bigger thanks to the help of Mario and Luigi and so on. And I was actually caught off a little bit. I thought that once he got bigger, he was just gonna go back to normal and just immediately just get Mario and just throw him away or something. But no, he actually takes the bait. So they meet Honey Queen later, and he actually takes the bait. He actually is like, all right, no, you know what? I got this. You guys go. That was a little surprising for me. But then it just all switches back. Like that's one part of the story I didn't really understand. He had this whole arc sort of being good and how he's changed, and then we could see that he did good for Mario and Luigi because he took the Honey Queen things that they had to do and let them go to the Gateway Galaxy. And then we just gets back with his son. His son is just like, just come back. This is exactly what you wanted. And then he just changes back. Like, I don't know. I don't really see like there wasn't any redemption. There wasn't. He just came back. So it was a little weird, definitely, in my opinion. Bowser Jr. Speaking of which, he was also a pretty interesting part of the movie. He played a large role, a pretty large role actually, and he was good. I think he was just good overall. Good. Like, was he amazing? I don't know, but he wasn't bad. He was definitely a decent enough villain, a good enough villain for the sequel without having to bring Bowser back in because they couldn't really bring him back in. He was small. So it was interesting how they brought him back in by the help of Bowser Jr. So that was pretty cool. Now on to the new characters, the reference characters, and oh boy, does this movie have a lot of characters. I think one of the best showcases of this is the Mario 2 casino scene. That scene features incredible music, incredible animation, incredible action, and tons of different characters. Like, they brought in Mauser. I was really surprised they brought in Mauser. That was a very interesting pick. And then there's some of the other characters like Rob. Rob was not the biggest, he didn't have too much roles, but the fact he even had a role in the movie was really good, and he was pretty funny, I gotta say. Having that reference where he's really, really slow to give directions, just like the real toy, I gotta say, that was a really nice touch Nintendo did right there. And Illumination, I'm pretty sure. And, yeah, so that was a pretty good thing. And the Pikmin, though, I was a little surprised, though, that they didn't have much of a role at all. Like, at least for me, in the trailers and the little, like, the videos that are hyping up for the movie in March, the Pikmin had a lot bigger of a role. They seemed like they were going to be more story relevant, but in the end, they only show up in one scene, in a rocket ship scene. I don't really. Like, they didn't have that much of a plot relevance to what I thought they were going to have. But, I mean, it was still nice to see them at least, which is good. But I was really, really surprised by Fox McCloud. Surprisingly, Fox McCloud, I mean, had such a big role in the movie. Like, he was really important. He brought them to, I don't actually remember right now. I think going to Bowser's ship, yeah. And it was really interesting. They even had the 2D section with all the different new animation styles. The voice acting was great. It was just a really interesting character that they'd use. But I gotta agree, having them spoil it is a little sad because like that would have been so amazing to go in the theater and you just see Fox McCloud on the screen and it's just crazy. But in all fairness, the movie probably would have been spoiled some way or another. Someone is probably just gonna post a video saying, "Oh my, Fox McCloud, he's in the movie, he's in the movie." So at least that sort of saves that from happening. But I still feel like we could have at least they could have at least done like a who will it be, who might the character be, but at least he was in the movie again, and he was really, really good. I gotta say, it was really good to see him, and Toad even did the reference to do a barrel roll, which is just again amazing. And with the 40X too, it improved the experience so much, but it also did, in which I'll get into later. And yeah, these characters all these different characters, and that's scratching the surface of characters. And since I'm in the non-spoiler part, I might as well just go ahead and say Daisy is in the end credit scene, the second end credit scene. She just kind of shows up. I wonder what they'll do with her. I don't really know at this moment. My only guess is like Super Mario Land, because that's like the only mainline game. Maybe Wonder. Those are really the only mainline games she's a part of. So I don't really know what they'll go with her, but it's interesting. It's interesting to definitely see and think what they might have. So yeah, but one thing I gotta say though is they just completely spoiled the end credit scene, the first one, in the trailers. So the scene with the Luma from the first movie that was in the trailers is the exact same as the one from it's the exact same from the end of the movie. Like it's there's no difference. Well, the only major difference is that Bowser Jr. and Bowser are missing. But I just thought that was crazy that they pretty much spoiled the whole end credit scene. But I guess I don't really know. I thought that was just gonna be a part in like the random movie. Maybe Mario goes in jail and then he's like, Luigi would be with him, so he'd be like, "What? You're here?" And then there'd be like a breakout scene. But no, that doesn't happen. It's just the end credit scene, which I thought was yeah. I don't know why they do that, but I mean, I'm not the filmmaker, so. And yeah, so that's the movie. That's roughly the movie. Generally, great animation, great story. Everything was pretty good, but there's definitely some parts that weren't that great. Specifically, the story. I liked how they brought in lots of power ups. They brought in Drill Mario. They brought in Red Star Mario. They brought in like the Cloud Luigi, the Cloud Flower. All pretty good additions, I gotta say. So overall, the movie is good. I'd maybe give it a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 or around that 6 or 8 range, that sort of range of numbers. It's generally just a good movie, so I would recommend watching it. Now on to the 4DX part of this video. And 4DX, for anyone who doesn't know, is essentially a multi-sensory theater experience. So if you've ever been to like a 4D movie at like a theme park, it's essentially that, but for the full length of a movie. So it has motion seats, which also rumble. And my theater, they actually had like little punching effects. They had water. Well, they should have had water. I'll get into that for a second. Water, rain effects, snow effects, fog effects, bubble effects, yada, yada, yada. It's just like it's pretty much for all the senses. You get scent and everything. Was it a good thing that they had there? Was it actually beneficial to the experience? I would say so, but to a limit. So, I'll start with the motion, because that was definitely the most defined part of the movie. I have experienced another type of that sort of seat moving, sort of rumble chair design. That sort of, I'm just going to use the word gimmick, in the form of D-Box. So D-Box is just like 4DX, but you're only getting the motion rumble, no punches, and you're getting motion seats. So yeah, the motion and the rumble, that's what you're getting, and you can actually change the amount you want on D-Box. You can't for this. I think 4DX is actually kind of similar in D-Box in that they're both they're both advertised as bigger, more expensive experiences that offer something new to the movie. Both of them are pretty good, I gotta say. D-Box, though, it's a more of a, since it's not trying to do all things at once, it's more of a better, more concentrated experience than 4DX is, in my opinion. 4DX at my theater lacked a lot of the effects that they had, because I don't really see much people talk about 4DX, so I just sort of went off like their own videos. The videos online have snow and all this extra stuff. My theater listed that it would have wind, strobe lights, rain effects, water effects, and the previously mentioned motion, and some scents. And I was fine with that. I didn't need so much extra stuff anyways. But my theater for some reason had no rain and no water. There was no water effects of any kind. I don't know why, but it just didn't have it. I don't know if it was for the movie, but yeah, they just didn't have it. But the strobe lights were actually surprisingly very effective. I wasn't gonna really think of them that much. I thought they were gonna be annoying, but like for certain sequences where things flash on screen, it really does actually improve the experience, I gotta say. I don't think I got much fog. I think there was fog, but there wasn't. I think there might have been like one singular cloud or something. Nothing much. And the sensors like one or two cents. So like when they went to the Honey Hive Galaxy, I believe it was, and met Honeybee, you could smell like some flowers or something. It was decent, nothing too much. And yeah, then they had punches too. So certain sequences, you'd feel like a punch in the back of your chair. That was definitely interesting for some of the more action heavy sequences, like the same casino scene. All that was just going off. It was crazy. So that was definitely good. And then I think that's pretty much it actually for what I had. Yeah, no, that's pretty much all. Except there was one thing that happened. Whenever any sort of motion would turn on, then like whenever not really motion, whenever any sort of effect would turn on, like I think specifically, I don't really remember right now, but like something would just there'd just be this sound effect that would come. So it'd just be like a sort of effect, like something's releasing, almost like a pneumatic system, perhaps like something air compression, gets released, and it just goes off sometimes, and it goes like there's two little spots on the chairs that have like I guess they blow wind or something at you. It was a little annoying, I have to say, but I mean it was still an interesting experience to do. Also, there were wind effects, so you'd feel like there's a one scene with Star Fox who was flying through. I mean, with Fox McCloud, he's flying and flying, and even when Toad did a barrel roll, the seats like rumbled and shook, and they flew around. It felt like you were really there. Plus the wind too. It was really really beneficial. I think it was pretty good overall. 40x. Would I recommend it? I would say do it once and try it out, see how you feel. But for me, I don't think I'll be doing it for a while. If I do it, it'd be for Sonic 4. But I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. It was just okay because I could tell like they were trying to balance out a lot of different things because they were trying to do motion and then wind and then water and strobe lights, this and this and that. And I feel like it's more of like it's just sort of an all sort of thing. Like there's not really one thing that you could really look on. Like for D-Box, they're really good at that one motion thing. Before DX, it's all that stuff getting thrown at you. I don't really know. I'd say try it out, give it a shot, see how you feel. But generally, I think I probably wouldn't. But this is only my first time, and I didn't get water this time, which I was really looking forward to. So maybe in the future, if I go once again, and if I go a couple more times and they have water, then I could do another review. So that was the 40X experience and the Super Mario Galaxy movie experience. 40X, I think, was okay enough. I think it's good to try it once, see how you feel personally. But for me, I think it was just alright. It was a bit of a bumpy ride. It was still a good experience, I think. Like, the stuff that they did have was really good. The strobe lights was good. The sense was fine enough. It was okay. The wind was great, and the motion was great. The punching sort of effect was great. But some of the stuff were just okay or missing. I wasn't really a fan of. But it was again. I'd just say check it out for yourself. This is only my theater too, so your theater could be different. And yeah, Mario Galaxy 2 is a pretty good movie. I think it definitely has its flaws, but it's a good movie. It's good soundtrack, good animation, good storytelling. Well, the storytelling is okay, but like it's good. It's definitely really good. Any Mario fan would like it. Any movie fan would probably like it, and I would recommend. What do you think about the Super Mario Galaxy movie, or even 40X? I'd be happy to listen to your opinions in the comments. But anyways, that's gonna be all for today, and see you all next time.